was supposed to be my TikTok handle, but TikTok deemed it that it violated their community guidelines.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
No headphones needed, whatever.
No headphones needed.
Just get close to that.
Hey, guys.
Hi. Jake, this is Danielle.
Hi, I'm Jake. So nice to meet you.
This is Gandhi.
Hi, I'm Jake. Nice to meet you.
Scary Nate. Look, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know if did you guys hear what we were talking about before you came in?
A little bit. We were chit-chatting.
Okay, well, thanks. It was so important. I was laying a great, strong foundation. You heard none of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, how old are you, by the way?
23.
Okay, 23. When you were a kid growing up here in New York, a New York City guy, by the way, now living in L.A., we were talking about how, as kids, we live in our heads in this world of imagination. And then as we get older, as I've figured out, because I'm the oldest on the planet Earth, I became a little frumpy and forgot about my fun, creative side sometimes.
Yes.
But you, even at 23, are still using that to make people laugh. And you're just living in your head, but showing the world on TikTok.
Right. I think that was in part due to the pandemic because I was so bored all the time. And I just would have no other outlet other than to make my friends laugh. And I had like a close group of friends, and they were always so supportive of anything I would do. And so they always thought I was so funny. So I really think the reason the TikTok kind of became what it did is because in my head there wasn't millions of people watching. It was really just my friends.
Right.
Do you test things out on them all the time before you put them out there on TikTok, or do you just put it out there and see what happens?
Well, they're always filming me. Okay. Unless I'm filming myself. Like, for example, I filmed myself yesterday and I sent it to my friends and I was like, is this funny? And they were like, no. And then I did it again and they were like, no. And then I did it again and they were like, fine.
Okay.
And then
thank God for friends.
And then they were like, maybe it's just because you do this all the time. And I was like, well, I would hope so. Because I think it's kind of funny. But then when we're doing it in person, since they're my best friends, I can tell when they're laughing and when they're like pity laughing, or when they're just like, sometimes they don't laugh at all and they'll just go silent, and I'll like stop. I'll literally stop mid-sentence and look at them and they'll just be like, enough.
Right.
Okay, it's good to have people who are honest with you.
Yes.
And by the way, if you're not familiar with Jake's work, and even though billions are, billions aren't. What I find fascinating, just to give people a little sample to taste, he'll take a moment in history. Okay,
yes.
This is a good, easy description. He'll take a moment in history that we're all familiar with, but add dialogue and movement. And what was it really like to the story? For instance, John Hancock, as you know, on the Declaration of Independence, a lot of people signed it, but John Hancock's signature was massive compared to everyone else's.
So I'd be pissed.
Right.
I'd be pissed.
Or Marie Antoinette getting canceled.
Yeah, she was probably super upset.
So you act that. What was that scene like back in history? Like, what really happened? So Jake will take us there.
Yeah, my thing is like, okay, at the end of the day, we're all humans. So we probably have the same feelings that we did 500 years ago. So if I lived 500 years ago and I was Marie Antoinette and I was offering them cake and everyone took it the wrong way, I'd be upset too.
Okay, it's
Took
cake.
it the wrong way.
It's a bundt. You baked a bundt. And also, like at the Last Supper with Jesus, who pays the bill?
Right, not Jesus.
Well, of course not.
I was hoping it was free, but you know.
Well, that's what Jesus thought.
Do they split it evenly?
Well, that was the miscommunication. That was the miscommunication.
So you're sort of hearing where the scenarios come from, but you have to see Jake act them out to understand, because a lot of it is physical. To me, it's physical comedy.
Is physical, yeah.
So to play the sound back just here on this medium, it'd be like, oh, okay. You don't see Jake like going through the part.
Yeah, it's all my little like movements that I do throughout my body. I don't really know where I get that from. I think I grew up watching a lot of reality TV. So I think and you know, when you're on reality TV, you talk with your hands and you're moving a lot. And when you watch reality TV at such a young age that maybe you're not supposed to, your brain kind of soaks it up like a sponge. Yeah. And then it just kind of becomes who you are. So like, I remember I used to watch Jersey Shore like every single week, and they talk with their hands.
Oh, absolutely.
The Italian.
Yeah, a bunch of Italians. Right.
So that is kind of where I get that like physical aspect of the comedy from.
Do you ever get to do fun collaborations with people that you grew up watching, like the Jersey Shore
Yes. So I did a collaboration with the Jonas Brothers, and what's fun about those collaborations is that they're always completely organic. Like the Jonas Brothers, like I woke up to Nick Jonas duetting me, and I was like, oh, what?
That sounds familiar.
And I was like freaking out. But like the way my brain works is I was like, okay, well, there was another character in the skit named Scott, and Nick did it. And I was DMing him being like, thank you for doing it. And then I was like, we got to find someone to do the other characters, like hoping he would like take the bait and like have Joe do it or Kevin. And he did. And then so it was kind of just like, and then it just kind of spiraled from there.
But they had a lot of fun doing that with
It was so fun. It was so fun.
So I'll take you back how many years ago when I'm a Sucker for You came out?
4.
So our thing is they broke into my apartment and woke me up in my bed and kidnapped me and brought me to the radio station and took over our show for the day. That was like, so they've been doing this for a little while. Yours was much more funnier than mine.
No.
But there's something great about waking up with the Jonas Brothers in your bedroom. Someone just sent a text and it says, hi, Jake, tense up.
Yes, tense up.
All your fans are.
Yeah, here they come, tense up, love him.
Oh my God, can you just see what people write in?
Yes, good and bad.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Well, luckily I've only read the good stuff on there so far.
No, so far so good. It's awesome. But you know what? How many people listening, how many people in this room grew up, depending on your imagination, to be your best friend? I know that was me.
Right.
You know?
I was like, am I schizophrenic or what's happening? Because it was so active in my head. But I wasn't, obviously.
But obviously, something great came out of that imagination because now you're influencing millions of people. They're watching these things to you. This isn't work. I mean, is this like a day at the office for you when you like do your content and
like yeah? I mean, I like wake up and I think about, okay, well, I have to go through all the comments and I have to, because a lot of it takes a lot of like thinking, because you have to think about like, what's the punchline? How am I going to make this funny? Because at first it was really easy because it was just, okay, be, you know, yourself 500 years ago and do whatever. But then that can only last for so long. So then you have to think of like punchlines and stuff. So like, for example, like I did this one the other day where it was like do a tomato, finding out it wasn't a fruit or something. And I sat there for like an hour and I was like, okay, I got it. Like I'm veggie fluid. So that's like just like stuff like that. Like I'll be like, okay, and then like let's go.
But tomatoes are fruits.
No, they're veggie fluid.
No, they're fruits.
Veggie fluid.
Well, I need to see this. So you get the idea and then you produce it. When
Yes.
do we see it? How fast can you roll it out?
Probably like a minute after I do it.
See,
Oh, wow.
so it's not like you someone who writes a TV show, then they get the actors together, then the production team, then they block it. No, it's immediate. It's the same in the music business. Jonas Brothers, can you imagine if they went, let's just write this song, and then 5 minutes later they give it to the world?
Right.
They don't do it that way.
Right.
You do. And is this the business? Is this what you want to do for the rest of your life, or what do you see this merging into for you?
You know, I was always so passionate about acting as a kid and making people laugh and like performing on stage. I always had really bad stage fright and I was always really scared to pursue it. So I'm kind of taking this as like, okay, well now it's like, if I don't pursue it, I'm stupid. So like, I really need to pursue it and I know I want to. So hopefully I can take this into some type of field where I can act and perform on stage or on camera.
So currently, is this your day job or do you do something else also?
I also work as an assistant at a record label.
Oh,
that's nice.
well. So we might see you in here someday.
Yeah.
Okay. Again.
West Coast.
Yeah, West Coast.
Okay.
But you know, it's good to work every day. It keeps you like, it honestly keeps my creativity. Because if I just sat at home every day and looked at my phone, I wouldn't be creative at all.
Right.
How do the people at work treat you, knowing that you have all these gajillion followers?
The same.
Okay.
Exact same.
Okay, good. And
We're
then-
like
sit down, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like a family at work. It's a small company, so it's amazing. Everyone's been so supportive and so kind.
So where do your ideas come from? They just fall out of the sky? You'll see something on TV and go, oh my God, yes. Or do you actually study and look for things to do your content with?
Like the best ideas usually really just come right after I look at the comment. Like I'll look at a comment and I'll sit there for 5 minutes and I'll bounce ideas off my friends. Like yesterday I was, or a few days ago I was with my roommate Brett and I was like really like stuck and I was like, how do I do the sun being blocked by sunblock? And like Brett was like, oh, we'll just have it be blocked on Instagram. And I was like, oh, that's actually really smart. And then so we would do something like that. We just like pop off ideas like that. But sometimes I really can't think of anything for like days. days.
Not unusual, though, in the creative
No.
world.
Yeah.
Being blocked. But having friends and people around you to open your mind, open your sinuses.
Right.
You know, going back to something you said earlier, pandemic.
Right.
How many people do we know came up with incredible businesses
Oh, yeah.
during pandemic? Gandhi, for instance. We found out she was a master painter, and she does artwork. Had pandemic never happened, we never would have known that.
Right.
And now she's selling them like by the dozens
Yeah.
online.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And-
I appreciate it. Having an art show.
Oh, that's amazing.
Exactly.
excited.
So the pandemic, you know, as awful and as shut down as it was, lives were lost as well. Look at all the great things that came out
Right.
of us having to rethink the way we approach our lives.
Right. I mean, you have to like think about it that way, or else how can
Yeah.
you go on?
So, okay, so being raised here in New York City, but now you're an LA guy, and he told me earlier he really prefers living in LA over
I
New
do.
York.
I'm sorry.
No,
Really?
never
I do.
apologize.
Some people are LA people.
I just am. I like Erewhon. I can't. I know. I'm sorry.
So you were fine with yesterday's weather around here with all
Wait,
that
I was
smog.
like, this is like a Tuesday. I was like, everyone was like, masks on, don't breathe outside. I was like, it literally smells like Los Angeles. But, okay.
It's like a taste of home.
Yeah. I was like,
Well, look, I want everyone listening do a search on Jake Shane if you've never followed him and just see what it's all about. And I love your story because it's a story that we all sort of have in us, but maybe we haven't acted on it yet. And that's to be creative, to trust your head, and living in your head is not always something you have to see a therapist for. Sometimes living in
right,
your
I
head.
don't see a therapist.
Do you sometimes think you should?
Oh, no, I'm starting next week.
I know, but we sometimes mental health is such an important part of
Yeah.
our
It
lives.
is so
I get that,
important.
but sometimes reading our signs in our head don't always mean that we have a problem and we're sick or ill. It also means we have things in there that need to get out, and we need to be creative.
I just have a lot of things in my head that want to constantly come out. And so TikTok kind of allows a really creative and funny outlet for it to come out and have a lot of people laugh at it, which is amazing.
So people are wondering, can they just quit their jobs and start putting content online and feed their family of 4?
Like, I don't know. You know, it's so interesting because TikTok feels, all social media success always feels so slippery and so fleeting. So I would never, I feel like, I don't know, I would never, I'm so grateful that I can still work every day because it takes away a part of the anxiety and a part of the pressure to constantly churn out like the most amazing stuff. You know, it's like social media it just feels like such a gamble all the time. You know, you're like really betting on yourself.
Now, do all of your friends who are influencers as well, do they agree with that statement, or do they some feel like, this is it? This is the cyber currency we're all going to live on.
I honestly think it just changes on person to person. I think the reason I feel that way is just because I'm anxious to begin with. So I'm always anxious about being forgotten or things going away. So like you put that like times a million because now you're on social media and it almost feels like you're like writing a permanent reputation for yourself, which is always scary. But yeah, I don't know. I just know I feel that way, but I've never really talked about that.
Say that line again. You're writing for yourself. What did you just say? I love that line.
What did I say?
It seems like you're writing a permanent
reputation.
Oh yeah, I'm like writing a permanent reputation for myself online.
A lot of people forget that when they post something, not thinking that they think it's going to die on the vine right there. It doesn't.
No, it's your digital.
Lives forever.
It's your
One day
digital
when you
footprint.
Run for president.
Yeah, everything comes back
Well, look, if you want to check him out, TikTok, of course, it's Octopus Lover 8.
with 2 S's.
Yes, with 2 S's. By the way, we have an octopus lover in the room.
I do.
You love octopus?
In a different way than you love the octopus.
Oh, you like love them as the animal.
Yes, and you love to eat them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you ever see my octopus friend? I think if you saw it, it might change your life.
I know, that's what everyone says. I can't.
Maybe you shouldn't.
I shouldn't.
That's the worst
I
advice ever.
shouldn't. I shouldn't. It would ruin the brand.
Okay.
And with the talk of late about TikTok possibly being outlawed here and
Right.
there and everywhere, where do you move next? Is there a plan B if they ever pull the plug on it?
I had a lot of anxiety about that at first. Like would freak out, like stay up all night, be like, oh, like what happens now? But I have enough faith in what TikTok's given me is like enough faith in my like creativity and my comedic timing to like be able to like pursue something. God forbid it goes away. And I'm able to like kind of build my presence on other platforms as well because I know that's important because at any given time, any of them could go away.
And don't worry, there'll be another one that's going to rip our identities
There you
off.
go.
Everyone
right
wants,
around the
right,
corner.
everyone wants to laugh.
Right.
So like what, you know what I mean? Like there's always going to be something, and as long as you just kind of are able to like bet on yourself and have faith in yourself, I think it'll be okay.
It'll always find its way.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing you can, my thing is always like, if you can't change it, like just fix it. So like,
I think you're going to be just fine.
I hope.
By the way, again, Octopus Lover 8 with 2 S's. Very important. And what? Yeah, what?
People also asking for your Instagram.
Yes, I'm on Instagram. It's at Pass That Puss.
With 2 S's?
With 4 S's. 4
Two.
S's. At Pass That.
Oh, PASS.
That's
That PUSS.
There's
Yes,
4.
here it is.
That's 4 S's.
And that
Total.
was supposed to be my TikTok handle, but TikTok deemed it that it violated their community guidelines. So,
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Instagram is so love all, serve all.
Yeah, Instagram's like, just go for it. I was like, okay.
Jake, Shane, thank you so much for being here. This was awesome.
Thank you guys for having me.
We'll be back right after this.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.